I started recording, Jenny, so I'll hide my roles now.
Yeah,
I'll admit anyone.
We're a day late to the party.
You lose track of time though, and dates during this kind of
situation.
I know. Sometimes you think, what day is it? Oh, I'm supposed to go to the grocery today. It's Wednesday or something.
Yeah, no, I felt like that this week. I've really not known what day it's been. Not good.
I think everyone's the same, aren't they? It's merged into one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And now everyone's phones are going crazy with, can we go back to work? Can't we go back to work?
Yeah, mad.
Yeah.
It is, it's mad. I mean...
Are they hounding you?
Well, yeah, they are, but it just hasn't been clear enough, has it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still a question, isn't there?
Definitely.
Hopefully we'll know by today, because some of the
Hopefully.
they were saying they were meeting up with the insurance company.
Okay.
At least it's a bright, sunny day.
Good morning from a lovely Irish person. Yay.
Oh, yay.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi, everybody. Great to
Hi.
be here. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks everybody for joining. It's brilliant.
lovely.
We're just
Thank you for having us.
we're just going to give it a few more minutes. Everybody's just still coming in.
It's exciting.
It really is. I'm glad you're excited too, Cheryl. I thought it was just me.
No, I'm excited to see some human faces for a change. So is the weather hot all over then today, or is it just in the northeast?
No, it's down south. Woo, melting.
Yeah, it's only 34 degrees later.
Wow.
Wow. It's boiling here, but not quite 34 degrees. It's still warm though.
Have you got your heliocare on, Denise?
Of course.
I have.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. A little plug for heliocare on our ENDYMED workshop.
I've got hay fever as well, so it's a double whammy today.
Oh, me too. Me too. My eyes were streaming yesterday.
Yeah, mine are really sore and itchy, but anyway, everybody's the same, I suppose.
I'd rather have the nicer weather.
Me too, definitely. Seeing as though we can't go on holiday as such.
I know.
Although
Never mind.
people are going on holiday now, aren't they? At least you can maybe get a break in the UK.
I think the UK is better. I don't think I want to go on a flight yet.
One of my friends flew out to Spain yesterday.
Wow.
I know. I don't think I'd be that brave.
No. Definitely
not. It's just too soon, I think.
Sit on a plane with a face mask on. It's like, huh?
Yeah. It's not that, it doesn't sound that pleasurable, does it?
No, apparently you have to ask permission to go to the toilet because they don't want queues outside the toilet. So you have to ring the buzzer and they have to tell you whether the toilet's free or not.
Wow. Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Not thought of that.
I'm an anxious flyer anyway, so I'd be past myself. I wouldn't like it at all.
Jenny, just so you know, when anybody comes in or asks a question, it brings my panel back up, so I'll just keep knocking it back off.
Okay, yeah. That's fine.
I think we're almost there. We'll just give it another minute or so. People keep joining.
How many people are coming?
We're up to 36 so far.
Fab.
Good.
It's the workshop to be at.
It is.
Becca.
It is.
If a message just come through, I'll click on it just so that it doesn't come on, or if I'll admit everybody as well, so then the box doesn't come up. 37 now.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Come on, let's get to 100. Here a while.
That might be pushing it a little bit.
I'm just messaging the girls to make sure they're watching.
Of course, yes.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Yes, they're all watching from aesthetics.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, brilliant.
Are you going to be famous, Cheryl?
Famous.
Famous at the Aesthetic Hair Workshop.
Oh, talking about my favorite subject.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Rebecca was trying to think, how long do I know you?
Well, do you know, when I was looking at your intro, Cheryl, and I met you when you first went into non-surgical aesthetics, so it's 18 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
with derma roller and stuff long before ENDYMED.
Yeah, well, I met you in my plastic surgery days, didn't I?
Yeah. Wow, time flies by.
I know. We haven't changed though, have we?
No, we haven't. We still look the same.
Not all. It's that ENDYMED. Sorry, everybody. People still coming in, so just so we don't have to break off, we'll just make sure everybody's entered.
The girls are watching.
Oh, good.
Good, good.
Are they getting everything ready?
Well, we're not going back until the 4th of August.
Okay.
So yeah, I made that decision anyway, just because I didn't know quite what was going to happen like everybody else. And I just thought, rather than stress about it, I'll just do it in August. And then we've got sort of like, hopefully, everything will be, you know, there'll be documentation and, you know, agreement in the government and things like that by then. So yeah, we've gone for August.
Clearer.
Yeah, we've just gone for August instead.
No, it makes sense actually, because you can always bring people forward and they'll be happy for that rather than telling them you have to delay them.
Well, exactly, that's what I thought. I thought, well, if I say August and then I said, you know what, we're going to come back mid-July, you know, we'll start to pull people forward. That would be better rather than having to cancel everyone, and it would just be a nightmare. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back though.
I know, I'm so crazy to say I miss work, but I miss work.
Oh,
But the time's gone so quick. I can't believe it since March that we've not been at work.
And it's gone so fast as well.
I know.
And I just think that it isn't work for us really, is it? It's a pleasure, and we're very lucky to do what we do. You know, it's
do what
not,
you love and love what you do.
Yeah.
That's what they say. If you love work, you'll never work a day in your life, don't they?
Yeah. True.
So yeah, we are very fortunate, very blessed.
I know, I love what I do.
Yeah,
When
me
you think
too.
about being retired and sitting at home, thinking, oh no, that's not me.
Well, we've just done that for 3 months. It's not for
I
me.
haven't sat at home. I've been doing webinars and training and all sorts of different things, but not just be like watching TV.
No, it's boring.
There's only so many coffee morning. I suppose it was different if we could have gone out and met friends and had coffee.
Yeah.
And things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I thought, oh, do you know what? I've got a chance to catch up with so and so, and then I thought, well, actually I can't. So there's nothing we could do really.
Jenny, do we think everybody's in?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah, 41 at the moment.
Wow.
Okay, I'm just going to reduce everything down on my screen, so I'm hoping that everybody can see the presentation okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So we might have a few more people to add in as we get going, but I think we'll get started because we've got quite a lot of ground to cover. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's ENDYMED workshop. Jenny, can we just mute some people because there's a bit of background noise?
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll just mute.
I'm just.
Our little technical assistant, Jenny, working with you there.
Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll just hide that. It's a busy workshop. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's ENDYMED workshop. We've got a jam-packed 90 minutes in store for you. Sorry, just adding some more people in.
It's okay. I think just I'm just trying to find. So if you could just make sure that you are on mute, just I'm trying to get through.
Yeah, it's just so everybody can hear the speakers as clear as possible. You can hear some background noise. That's better?
Yeah.
So welcome to today's workshop.
We're good to go.
90 minutes in store for you, so we'll just start off with today's lineup. So we're going to start with an introduction to aesthetic care. We're going to delve a little bit deeper into the ENDYMED technology and treatment platform. We're really privileged today to be joined by the fabulous Cheryl Marshall-Williams from Aesthetics Clinic in Beaconsfield and also Denise Dunning from Norton Cosmetic Clinic in Stockton-on-Tees. We will introduce them in detail a little bit later on. We're then going to have a look at why ENDYMED is a good choice for your clinic, and then we'll finish with the next steps and how you can book a personalised meeting with one of the team here at ENDYMED. So I'm just going to start off by introducing today's panel, a lovely bunch you can see on the screen there. So my name is Rebecca Walton. I'm National Sales and Training Manager here at Aesthetic Care. I absolutely love working with ENDYMED and all our amazing clinics out there. It is an absolute privilege to work with the ENDYMED technology. I'm also joined by Rebecca O'Brien. Rebecca is our Business and Development and Training Manager. Rebecca has been with us for 15 years, and also she started with ENDYMED when we first formed our partnership back in 2012. So a lot of knowledge that Rebecca's got, she's here to share today. We've also got Jenny Scragg, our National Training Manager, and many of you probably recognise Jenny already. She's a favourite of our clinic. You've probably seen her on our social media platform. She's actually becoming her own couple of months.
I'm not sure about that.
I think you are. Roisin Wood, again, many people know Roisin. She's our Commercial Director. She's on board today to answer any questions. So please feel free at any time to drop any of your questions into the comments box. And Roisin and Jenny will be answering, typing away there. So never a silly question, please ask us anything. We want it to be formal. Anybody who knows aesthetic care know that we always try to be as professional as possible when we do anything. So please, anytime, unmute yourself or drop us a message.
Can I just double check that everybody's put their microphone on mute as well, just to double check, just because we're getting that background and I can't find.
Can't keep up. And then again, the real stars of the show today are Denise. We're absolutely privileged to have them as part of this session. It's a real honour to their insight into ENDYMED and also their practice as well. So welcome Cheryl and Denise. We will talk a little bit more to them later on. Sorry, I'm just going to hide that panel just so everybody can see everything on the screen. So before we get started, we thought it would be important to introduce us, Aesthetic Care. So the goal here with the team at Aesthetic Care is to enhance skin health and appearance, and as a result, really focus on well-being. We are all skin experts, and we offer leading skincare technologies and skin treatments to aesthetic professionals. Sorry, it's really background noise. Is there somebody who's not muted?
Yeah. I can't actually mute from my.
Let me try.
Just you would have to look.
Can everybody hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenny, I'll just unmute you so you can chip in as well.
Yeah, I think I'm unmuted now.
Okay, that's so much better. So sorry everybody for having to do that, but it just means that you can't hear what everybody's saying. So if you do have any questions, as I said, please just feel free to drop us a comment in the chat box, and Roisin and Jenny are there to answer any questions. So just to recap, so who are we, Aesthetic Care? So the goal of the team here at Aesthetic Care is to enhance skin health and appearance and really focus on well-being. We are skin experts and we offer leading skincare technologies and skin treatments for aesthetic professionals. I'm hoping that you will recognise many of the brands in the column down the right hand side, especially ENDYMED, as that's why we're here today. So ENDYMED is powered by the most advanced radio frequency technology, and it really helps meet patient demand in clinic for all skin concerns. We also work very closely with Newer, and Newer, I think the best way to describe it is how Denise does. Newer is ENDYMED's little sister, and it really does give you the radio frequency technology in the palm of your hand. As we enter into this new normal phase and we start to look at clinics reopening their doors, skincare and home devices will play a huge part of the patient journey. So Newer has been fantastic for us as the last 3 months, and obviously moving forward as the clinic reopens, it gives the tool at home to really kickstart the response within their skin and also prep the skin too. We also work really closely with All Skin Med. So All Skin Med is when science meets experience, clinically proven technologies and advanced treatments that are exclusively for skincare professionals. So the products are not available anywhere else barring clinic. Many of you will know HelioCare. We've already been talking about it this morning. It is the multi-award winning brand, daily protection, and we have got a huge community of followers with HelioCare. It is absolutely fantastic. We also provide EDS, which is our professional skin needling system, and brand new technology, innovative technology that we started working with last year is Emapel. And Emapel is a specialist brand for estrogen deficient skin, so skin impacted by the menopause. So if after today you're interested in any other of our brands, obviously you've got the opportunity to book a meeting with one of the team and we can pick up on that in detail. We started our ENDYMED partnership back in 2012, and we have got some fabulous clinics that we work with up and down the country. ENDYMED meets patient demand. It helps our clinic owners really meet the demands of their patients, and we're really excited to tell you about it today. Our way of working is ever evolving, so we can support you, we can support your business, and more importantly, support your clients as well. We work effectively, safely, and together. So I'm now going to hand over to Rebecca O'Brien. Probably can remember from my introduction, she is our business development and training manager. So she's going to take us through ENDYMED, the platform, the treatments, and the technology in a little bit more detail.
Okay, thanks very much, Rebecca. Can everyone hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So ENDYMED is such a unique device, and I've had the privilege really and the pleasure of working with it, as Rebecca said, now for nearly 9 years. So I've got a lot of experience in not just selling it into clinics, but also training and launching it. And if there's one thing about ENDYMED, it stood the test of time. The fact that we've been working with it for 9 years really should say to people that this is an investment that you've got to make, because we live in a world of a turnover of machines that happen every sort of 18 months to 2 years. And I think one of the challenges that we see in clinics is that many people say to us, is this the latest technology? I need something new. You know, will this machine run out? Will I need to buy a new device in a couple of years' time? And the beauty with ENDYMED is that you don't need to do that. You've got one device with multiple treatments. It's still going strong. You've got opportunities to future-proof what you're offering in clinic. And you can really deliver some amazing treatments and solutions for every single client that walks through the door. So with ENDYMED, you've got straightforward skin tightening, for example. We know that we can address tightening on the face and on the body, and we can lift and but the beauty of this system is that we can also treat key aging concerns, and we can power up our treatments to a much higher intensity and level, and we can treat key conditions such as acne scarring, we can treat sun damage, we can treat much deeper lines and wrinkles, and we can also treat stretch marks as well. So we can really take this system to the next level. So if we just go to the next slide, thank you. So with the ENDYMED, it has a very unique method of delivering energy called 3 Deep Skin Science. And we're going to go into that in a little bit more in a minute. But it is the only machine and the only technology in the world that has multiple generators of radio frequency energy. And that's really key to the way that the machine works. It uses an array of different handpieces, specialist handpieces, to manipulate this energy into different ways and at varying levels of intensity. So that means that we can actually manipulate the energy to treat all layers of the skin, and we can deliver much more powerful treatments. It's a very, very easy machine to use. It's one of those machines that if you had it in your clinic and you hadn't been shown how to work it, you could work it out. But the good thing about it, it's all software driven. So it's very, it's one of those pieces of equipment that will keep on going. You don't need to upgrade your machine every 2 years. All you need to do is to upgrade the software. So we're able to future-proof devices because we can grow with it. And that is a very key thing about ENDYMED. You don't need to take the entire system. You can start with one particular offering and then you can build up over the years. So that way you're really able to keep the device very current and very on trend in your clinic. Okay, so I mentioned that there are lots of different attachments, and just very briefly, we have 7 different treatment handpieces in total. And these treatment handpieces allow you to deliver really effective facial skin tightening and lifting, body skin tightening, lifting and contouring, and fractional radiofrequency. And on the next slide, we're going to talk about the efficacy of the facial tightening handpieces. So the facial tightening is an extremely comfortable treatment. It's pain-free. And we have 3 particular treatment handpieces that we can use here to treat the upper face. Now, they're all specially configured to deliver energy to the right level in the skin. And that's really important so that we know that we're getting to the right position and that we're also not getting too deep. We can treat using the small handpiece, the cheeks and the neck. And I would say for the facial tightening option, this is the standard handpiece that everyone would take. We've recently launched the mini shaper handpiece, which is fast becoming one of the most exciting treatments on the platform, actually, because we're now able to really target people that have got heavier jowls, more fat in the submental area. And that handpiece actually goes to a heating depth of 7 millimeters. So it's really quite long. That particular handpiece can be used on the body as well, and it can be used on both the arms and around the knees. And then we also have the iFine handpiece, which is perfect for crow's feet and eye bags, and the heating depth there is more shallow. It goes to 1.8, which is obviously perfect for the tissue around the eye area, because that's where we're needing to be more superficial because the skin tissue is that much thinner.
So Rebecca, sorry, I was just going to add on that point as well. I know Cheryl's going to talk about it in detail in her presentation, but actually how the skin tighten handpieces really fit in with other treatment offerings in the clinic. And I know many of our clinics have put together packages where people can upgrade from advanced facials to include skin tightening. So these are the real workhouse handpieces that will be used all day in clinic. I just think that's an important point to make there.
Thanks, yeah. Okay, so we also have 2 treatment handpieces that will treat the body. We have the shaper, which is really an all-rounder. This is a great handpiece, actually, if you really just want to target straightforward skin laxity on the body. It's great for people with lower levels of body fat, so where we have a lot of loose tissue and we really need to get that spring back in the skin. And the heating depth of that is 11 millimeters. But the contour handpiece, which is a more recent addition, is something that we use on individuals with additional levels of body fat. So this is going to have much more of a contouring action. It also has the addition of a vacuum massage, and that enables us to get heating sort of 3 times as deep as the shaper handpiece, so up to 30 millimeters. So that, again, is very effective. So we're just going to have a quick look now at some technology and some sort of animated film of the treatments in action.
ENDYMED presents 3D focused RF skin science, delivering a superior, innovative solution for non-invasive wrinkle reduction, skin tightening, body contouring, fractional skin resurfacing, and RF microneedling for the face and body. 3D provides controlled energy delivery. RF energy is sent exactly where it needs to be to effect significant collagen remodeling for visible, immediate, and long-term results. Unlike other superficial RF technologies, 3D RF technology delivers controlled RF energy deep into the depth of the dermis for deep, volumetric heating, reaching therapeutic temperatures of 52 to 55 degrees Celsius with minimal epidermal heat. ENDYMED's 3D focused energy delivery incorporates real-time skin impedance monitoring, providing optimal energy to the targeted treatment area by making continuous adjustments during treatments. 3Deep's dermal penetration and unparalleled volumetric heating provides consistently superior results in dermal rejuvenation for the face and tightening and contouring for the body. ENDYMED's 3Deep technology, the complete aesthetic solution.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I just can't knock on to the next one. Why has it done that? There we go. Sorry.
There we go. That's okay. So hopefully that video just gave you a quick overview of how the technology works. But if we just look at this, sorry, just that's fine, thanks. So if we just look at the 3Deep technology slide there, effectively how it works, it sends through multiple layers of energy deep into the skin using multiple generators, as we said before. Now, this is really important because it's driven down vertically into the tissue, and those multiple waves repel against each other, which means that we're taking the energy focus away from the epidermis. And this is really important because we're minimizing the flow of energy across the epidermis. We're making this a really comfortable treatment. And that means it's a bit like having a hot shower or a warm stone massage. And I think many of our clinics that are probably watching this that are familiar with ENDYMED will say that clients love the feel of an ENDYMED treatment. It's so lovely. And if we look at the technologies at the bottom there, we have monopolar, bipolar, and multipolar are probably the most common ways of introducing energy into the skin. And the comparisons really are that those energies do create a lot more energy on the skin surface, so they can be quite uncomfortable and quite hot. But with ENDYMED, it's much more focused. So we really know where that energy is going. And if we just have a quick look at that thermal imaging there, you can see compared to bipolar, the 3Deep energy does go 4 times as deep.
Yeah.
So Rebecca, do you want to talk through these? Because these are your customers, aren't they?
Yeah, so these are from one of our lovely clinics, the aesthetic rooms in Rochdale, and Zoe Pearson kindly shared these with us. 2 of her patients that have had skin tightening treatments, and you can see there before and after 6 treatments. So they've had 6 treatments done over an 8-week period, and you can see the visible improvement to the laxity of the skin. The first image there on the left-hand side, especially around the neck and the jawline, the texture, the radiance of the skin. I absolutely love that. It's one of my favourite images. And then just on the right-hand side there, you can see this lady's got definition now along a jawline, around the neck, also around the lady's mouth. And the change to the skin, it looks a lot brighter, a lot fresher. These are from one of our ENDYMED clinics as well, Helen Blanchard. She's based in Liverpool, active member of the BACN, a real ambassador for ENDYMED. And again, she shared these fabulous images with us. The left-hand side, you can see the change just along the jawline, around the mouth, the volume. It just looks so much brighter, a lot fresher. And then just on the right-hand side there, just let me move that box, you can see this lady's neck, absolutely incredible. And again, before and after a course of skin tightening, 6 treatments over an 8-week period. So I'm going to bring in Jenny now. Jenny's our fabulous trainer, and she's going to talk you through the treatments using the small, the iFine, and the mini shaper. So,
hi everyone. Hi, so I'm in our virtual training centre, and these videos were actually filmed this week, so we were able to perform some demonstration treatments earlier in the week. ENDYMED is classed as non-aerosol or plume generating, so it is following the COVID-19 restriction guidelines. So there's safe treatments to do, obviously, with all of the PPE on as well. So the first treatment that I'm going to be showing to you in a second is using the small handpiece. So just to refresh everyone on where this is going to be used, this is the one that is going to help to tighten the cheek area and the neck area. And this is a really comfortable treatment. You'll see the skin will go quite pink, but it is a very comfortable treatment. So if we start playing the video, and we'll talk you through. And this is the handpiece. This will be your go-to handpiece in clinic, because we know that every client that comes through, they want that lift to the lower face. So it really does help to focus on that laxity to the lower face area, particularly if they're noticing that perhaps the cheeks aren't quite sitting as high. You know, sometimes we can see that the cheeks become slightly more hollow as well, and we start to see those jowls appearing and that loss of definition to the jawline. You'll see here, I'm just marking out my treatment area. This means that I can be really precise with my treatment. It means that I get a really nice even coverage with the energy, delivery of the energy to the area. I also do this when I work over the neck area as well. And then we're applying the gel onto the skin, and the gel is obviously there to help to conduct the energy, but it also keeps the treatment really comfortable. So as the little video earlier mentioned, there is minimal heat on the surface of the skin, so it does make the treatment very, very comfortable. It is all about that technique that we do with the treatment. So you'll see that I constantly keep the handpiece moving over the skin, and this is again distributing that energy really nice and evenly. And remember, this handpiece is working to 3 to 4 millimeters within the skin, and the heat below the surface of the skin is going to be hotter than that on the surface. It's important that when we're doing the treatment, we're keeping that handpiece in contact at all times. And as long as that technique is right, it is a very comfortable treatment. It's an enjoyable treatment. There's no pain associated with this. There's no downtime associated. The skin will just look quite pink afterwards. But you actually get this instant lift to the skin, which is amazing.
And I think that's what patients love. It's that instant collagen contraction.
They love that glow. Yeah, and it's important that we get that instant lift to the skin, but we want that long-lasting result as well. And that's what ENDYMED is great at doing. You will get that wow factor when you get off the bed and you look at the skin, but also we know we are generating collagen in the skin long-term. So I'm just checking the temperature there. Once I've got up to my optimum temperature on the cheek, I can then start the treatment. So Rebecca is on the bed there. She was just testing. So you can often feel a difference by placing your tongue into one cheek and comparing it to the other. Often it feels tighter straight away after. We always do the little pinch test as well. And you can see her cheeks just nice and pink there. So then moving on to the neck.
Sorry, I was just going to say as well, and I think this is why this is such a great treatment to bring into other offerings in the clinic as well.
Yeah.
So if somebody is used to just having, say, an advanced facial, by bringing the skin tightening, it's that real upgrade to see such a visibility in the skin. Yeah.
Definitely. And you could treat just the cheeks, you could treat just the neck, but I find for best results of that full lift to the lower face, treating both areas means that the jawline actually ends up getting treated twice. And again, very comfortable on the neck area. And remember, what this is actually doing is generating, not only contracting that collagen that we've got, but it's generating fresh collagen in the skin. So a treatment course would be 6 treatments, and these would be spaced over 8 weeks. So we would do the first 4 1 week apart, making it nice and concentrated and intense stimulation, and the last 2 weeks apart. And the actual best result for the client is going to be 3 months after the course is finished. So we always say that a lot of clients will see results as they go through the course, but their best result will be 3 months after, because that collagen needs to now mature, it needs to reorganize itself, and that's where we get that true change to the architecture of the skin. So it is like the treatment that keeps on giving, it keeps getting better and better. And it's something that is very easily maintained. So once they've had that course of treatment, they then only need to come to clinic to top up, perhaps every 3 months. I do find that clients love the ENDYMED skin. They love that feel. So if they want to come in more often than 3 months, they can do, which would be amazing. But they can maintain those results really easily with 1 treatment per month, which is fab.
Yeah, and I think people do that. You know, once you've had a course of ENDYMED treatment, the change that you experience to the skin, like you say, they become where they want to be all the time.
Definitely, they love that kind of sculpted, contoured look. And if you were treating the cheek and the neck, the full treatment will take around 45 minutes to do the full treatment. So again, it's not too long of a time in clinic. It can be done quite nice and quickly as well. And that's me in my full PPE, so you can see how you can set up.
Yeah, brilliant. And just to give an idea on pricing, we often get asked in clinic, you know, what would be the perfect price for this treatment? You'd be looking to charge the client anywhere between £600 to £800, depending on the areas that we work for the cheek and the neck area.
Okay, so if we go on to the next handpiece, so this again is another Titan handpiece, and this is the one that is going to be, I think it's the next one along, Rebecca. Sorry.
Again.
iFine. So we're going to go on to the iFine handpiece. And again, so it's that same technology as we saw with the small, but this is now obviously, I'll just grab it here. It's a smaller handpiece, so it's a lot more easier for us to work around the eye area, but it's that same mechanism of action of heating the skin to create that wound healing response below the surface to really generate collagen. Now, this handpiece is amazing for anybody who is starting to see signs of aging around the eyes. They're starting to notice laxity, crepiness, fine lines. Perhaps they just generally have quite tired eyes, and they need something that is going to really help to open up the eye area and really refresh. I find you get such an amazing result around the eye area instantly, but long term it can really help with that slackness and thin skin around the eye area as well. Again, it's a very comfortable treatment. We work below the brow, we work under the eye as well, and the whole treatment itself will take about 30 minutes to perform. And again, it's very comfortable for the clients. And it's that course of 6 treatments spaced over 8 weeks as well.
I think the nice thing about the iFine is you really get a wow factor with it, don't you? When we demonstrate the iFine, or if it's launched in a clinic as part of a, you know, an evening event or something like that, the iFine is the one that really attracts people. Yeah,
it's the one where they get off the bed and we've done one eye and they're like, wow, I can see that difference. So the last of the Titan handpieces for the face is the Mini Shaper. So as Rebecca said, this is one of our most popular ones at the moment because it's working on that target area of the jawline, which I think you can agree is such a problematic area for so many women and for men. It's a great treatment for anybody who has got a heavier lower face, perhaps noticing that loss of definition to the jawline and often starting to see the corners of the mouth starting to drop. It's great for that stubborn laxity under the chin as well. And this handpiece is a little bit different. So rather than our straight electrodes, you'll see this one has got those concentric circles. This means it can penetrate much deeper. So this is working to 7 millimeters within the skin. And below the surface, it is getting hotter. So it's great for working on that heavier jawline as well as tightening the skin as well. And we really do see a nice definition to the jawline afterwards. As I said, it can be used on men and on women, as all the handpieces can, but it's great for someone starting to see those heavier jowls around the mouth area. This treatment takes about 30 minutes. Obviously, we would work on both sides of the face as well. And by doing that, the submental area gets treated twice from both sides, which I love. And this is, again, a course of 6 treatments. So spaced over those 8 weeks, they would come in for those 6 treatments. And it gets nice and warm, but it's comfortable.
It really does give the face the kind of V shape back, doesn't it?
Yeah,
okay.
The handpiece as well, just to point out, can also be used on the top of the arms. So it's great for laxity to the top of the arms, and it's amazing around the knee area. So if you've got clients that perhaps, you know, have got problems with their knees, they don't want to wear a skirt above the knee, it's a great handpiece for that as well.
Okay. So now we're moving on to fractional radio frequency. There are 2 different platforms for this offering. We have the ENDYMED Intensive and the ENDYMED FSR. If we go on to the next slide, I can talk through a little bit more about the technologies. We're going to show you a video now as to how both of these technologies work in the skin, because they're very different. Thanks, Rebecca.
3D fractional technology by ENDYMED, the most advanced RF microneedling and fractional skin resurfacing technology available today, providing clinically proven, effective, and safe treatments. The Intensive by ENDYMED is an FDA-cleared motorized microneedle RF treatment handpiece available with a Pro and Pure 2.0 treatment platforms. Powered by 3D fractional RP, the Intensive stands out from other microneedle technologies with its exclusive, smooth gliding and fast operating mode, providing comfortable treatments without any trauma to the epidermis. The Intensive's gold-plated, non-insulated microneedles generate more heat safely into the dermis. Because the whole microneedle is active, not just the tip, Intensive treatments offer uniform heat dissipation and coagulation along the entire needle length, providing better collagen remodeling and requiring less passes per treatment for shorter treatment times and greater patient comfort. Fractional ablation with 3 deep heating for superior results. FSR treatments by by ENDYMED with unique 3D smooth scanning technology combines superior fractional ablation with 3D RF volumetric heating for optimal skin resurfacing and rejuvenation results. FSR treatments have fully customizable treatment parameters that offer complete control of ablation and RF delivery levels. With an unparalleled skin penetration depth of 2.9 millimeters and the largest variable treatment area in the industry, FSR by ENDYMED provides maximum coverage with minimal discomfort. ENDYMED's combination intensive and FSR treatments provide the ultimate solution for skin resurfacing, deep wrinkle reduction, scar reduction, and skin tightening with exceptional results.
Doesn't like our videos, does it?
It makes me have to go back. I can't knock on. I don't know why. There we go.
Thanks very much, Rebecca. So, so the intensive handpiece is without doubt the real powerhouse in the machine in terms of taking your treatments to that very next level. And with the intensive, we can really target very advanced aging concerns and sun damage. I know that Jenny will talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but you really can widen your treatment menu with this particular handpiece. You can treat stretch marks and acne scars, etc. You can really treat the condition of the skin. The actual tip itself has an array of needles. It's 25 in total. And I do think still it's probably the only system that offers you such a long length. It goes up to 5 millimeters. Sorry, 0.5 millimeters. Or have I got that wrong? No, 5. I can't. Sorry, you're hiding the thingy. 5, 0.5 to 5. Sorry about that, everyone. But the good thing about it is you can adjust this in 0.1 increments. So it gives you real power to manipulate the settings so that you can bespoke treatment to your customer. And if we just go on to the next slide, I'll show you a little bit about the technology, because ENDYMED really launched one of the very first microneedle systems, and it's still, to my mind, it is the most effective that's out there. There are systems out there that use needles. If we look at the left-hand picture there, a lot of systems use needles that have insulated needles, and the actual tips of the needles are non-insulated. And what you get with that is you get points of ablation. And those points of ablation can actually lead to longer downtime. And the actual treatment itself becomes much more about a microneedling treatment than it does a heating treatment. And that's something that I really want to spell out here, because this is something that we often get asked. People make the assumption that ENDYMED Intensive is a needling treatment with radiofrequency energy. It isn't a needling treatment at all. The needles are there purely to deliver the energy into certain depths into the skin, so it's going much, much deeper, but we're also creating much higher levels of heating as well. Now, other forms of RF microneedle include non-insulated radiofrequency needles, so they are getting the energy being delivered all the way down. But what happens with that is that you get the energy in just one pulse. So we get a fairly limited amount of heating in the skin, and quite fractional really. But with ENDYMED Intensive, they have their really unique fractionated pulse mode. So with that, what we can do is we can get coagulation all the way down the needle tip, but we pulse the energy so it widens its reach, and we get a much wider area of heating, which means that it's much more uniform. And we also get a wider area of coagulation as well. So this really is a blood-free treatment. And you will see when you're doing a treatment that the downtime is minimal. Often by the time they've left the clinic, they almost go back together, you know, back to normal, even though it's one of the most intense treatments. I will also add here is that with the Intensive, you've got something akin to a really powerful laser, but because it's radio frequency, which means it's colorblind, we can use this on all skin types really safely. So this is a very exciting treatment. And I think, Rebecca, again, you know this lady, don't you?
Yeah, so just results. We do share this one often on social media because it's just incredible. This is a clinic that we work with in Wakefield called Face the Future. a young patient here you can see with that quite severe acne scarring, and an absolute incredible result after just 3 intensive treatments. You can imagine she was delighted.
Amazing.
I know, I love that one. And then this is courtesy of Dr. Prima Clinic down in London. A fantastic result again after a course of 3 intensive treatments. You can see a visible change to the texture, the tone of the skin, an incredible lift as well. So I'm going to put you back in just to talk us through the intensive treatment.
Okay, yeah, so you can see it in action here. So just to recap of who this is for, so this is the most advanced handpiece, and I would say this is going to be for those advanced signs of aging. So where the tighten isn't quite enough, we need to work within the skin deeper. I'm just doing a little patch test there to check the response. But this is great for anyone with laxity to the skin, with deeper lines and wrinkles, with also textural issues to the skin as well, perhaps pigmentation. We can also treat acne scarring, as you saw in that photograph there. So the skin has been numbed here for 30 minutes. We use LMX4 to numb the skin, and this helps to make the treatment that bit more comfortable. There is just a slight element of discomfort, but it's very manageable. And this handpiece is really working from the inside out. So as Rebecca said, downtime wise, even though this is the most intense, actually you don't have that long period of downtime. I'd say maybe 24, 48 hours of slight redness on the skin. There'll be that slight microcrusting, but it resolves itself within around 5 days. And then the skin is actually left looking really nice and bright and healthy. And just like with the Titan handpieces, yes, you'll see those results throughout the course, but the best result is going to be that 3 months after. And the course is a little bit different for intensive. So we would do 3 treatments in the course, and these are spaced 4 weeks apart.
Just to add in there, Jenny, as well about costings for intensive. Intensive is our most advanced treatment offering, so we would recommend clinics to charge for a cost of 3 about £1,500 for face and the neck.
And yeah, and we can treat face and neck, as Rebecca said there. You could, if you wanted to treat back of the hands, we can treat décolleté, anywhere that there's acne scarring, and also stretch marks as well, it's great for.
Yeah, brilliant.
The other thing with the intensive and also with the FSR is that you do have the ability to manipulate the settings, so you can really bespoke the treatment. You can manipulate the power, the ablation, and the amount of time the energy flows for. So it's, exciting.
That's a good point actually, Rebecca, as well, about the settings on the device. As you were saying, everything is set up in the device for you, so all those settings, the default, are on there. So it is very easy to manage, but we can adjust those parameters if we need to as well.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, we cover quite a lot in the training, so that you can really work within the whole remit of the system.
Exactly.
So the ENDYMED FSR, you saw again in the video there how that technology works, but I absolutely love the fractional skin resurfacing rejuvenation, because it really is the treatment that kind of hones the skin quality. It's all about luminosity. If you've got patients who've got crepey skin, impaired texture, pigmentation, superficial sun damage, all of those things, the FSR is ideal, and it really lends itself to treating zones as well, and we'll touch on that in the video. So the actual tip itself ablates the epidermis to a depth of 0.1 millimeters and the heating to a depth of 2.9. If we just go to the next slide, I'll talk you through the technology. So it's very, very clever the way in which this works, because it uses its 3D skin science here, and energy flows from multiple positive electrodes to 1 negative electrode. And if you look at the little grid in the middle picture at the bottom, that is actually the tip itself, and all those little dots are electrodes. So as all these positive electrodes send waves of energy to the 1 negative, that focus of intensity ablates that whole electrode and that whole row. And it's very, very clever, because as the energy is being delivered, the polarity switches so that the whole grid of electrodes effectively ablate the skin surface, and we get that volumetric heating underneath to tighten the skin. And that makes FSR an absolute perfect treatment for treating around the eyes, where the skin is a little bit thinner and where you might be sort of treating laxity and a certain amount of hooding. And just to sort of illustrate that, this is a picture from Dr. Mohan. Dr. Mohan came up with a very specific treatment for around the eyes to really target more sort of aggressive hooding, if you like. So the ENDYMED ENDYBLEF is really for people who've got mild to moderate hooding. And I just want you to look at this picture here. And if you look at this gentleman on the left, you can see that his pupils are obliterated partly by his eyelids. But if you look at the treatment afterwards, you can see it's really opened up the eyes, and you can see more of his pupil, and that's what ENDYMED is all about.
Yeah.
Again, there's another nice result there on the neck. Again, after a couple of treatments, you can see some real changes to the crepiness and the texture of the neck. And this lady I actually treated with the ENDYMED protocol. So a slightly different result to the gentleman earlier, but she didn't have the same amount of hooding, but she had a huge amount of crepiness and actually quite dull, tired skin. And you can really see an improvement in brightening and luminosity around the eye there, and it's so much smoother.
Really tightens it as well,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a very quick treatment. That's the beauty of the ENDYMED. It's done in 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm obviously now you'll see a small demonstration of the FSR handpiece as well. So again, the skin has been numbed prior for 30 minutes, and with this one it is about being very precise with the treatment. So I'm doing obviously my patch test, I'm checking for the response on the skin. We use a small grid for the cheek area and for the forehead, and then we can go freehand around the eye area. As Rebecca said, this treatment is amazing for clients with textural issues to the skin, so that crepiness, that sun damage, that's fine lines and wrinkles, as well as helping to tighten, because it has that double action where we get the ablation as well as that deep volumetric heating at the same time, so we still get that nice lift to the skin as well. It's also great for flat acne scarring as well, so you've got that option between Intensive and FSR to treat acne scarring. Very minimal discomfort with this one, because once the skin's been numbed, you can't really feel it. When we come to do the ENDYMED, the specialist eye treatment, which is more intense, there is a mild discomfort with that one, but it's very quick. You can actually do that ENDYMED eye treatment. It takes 15 minutes to actually perform. If you were doing a full face treatment, it would take you around 45 minutes. If you were including the neck, you could then, it would take you around an hour to do the treatment, and then just add on obviously your 30 minutes. And this is a course of 3 treatments, and again, spaced out 4 weeks apart. Downtime wise, I would say 48 hours of redness, and then there will be that mild microcrusting as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And then just to touch on the pricing as well, it would be, as Jenny said, a cost of 3 treatments over 3 months. You'd be looking around £1,200. Obviously, with the Intensive and the FSR, there is some associated consumable costs as well, but not with the skin tightening element.
Yeah, and the good thing about the FSR tip, of course, is that it can be reused on the same patient until it's run out. So it does give you added value there, and that's how it lends itself to smaller treatment zones.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so it's now time to introduce the stars of today's show. So we're going to start off, obviously we've got Denise and Cheryl, but we're going to go to Cheryl first, and I'm going to let Rebecca give Cheryl the brilliant introduction she deserves.
Oh, thank you. So I've known Cheryl, as you heard earlier, for, well, God, literally 18 years. We go back a long way. And Cheryl was actually one of the very first people in the UK to actually use ENDYMED 10 years ago. So she does have a huge amount of experience using the device and across all the platforms. She joined the multi-award-winning aesthetics clinic, which is owned by plastic surgeon Miss Sharina Balaratnam in 2017, and Sharina also took on the ENDYMED at that time. So we have a lot of ENDYMED history between us. Cheryl has such a huge knowledge of the industry anyway, in terms of non-surgical rejuvenation and using lots of other different energy-based devices. So she can really talk us through how ENDYMED suits her. So over to you, Cheryl.
Well, hello everybody, and thank you for having me here today on this beautiful sunny morning, and thank you, Rebecca, for such a warm welcome. Yes, I have been in aesthetics for 18 years, and so that's a long time to see things evolve, as they say, and ENDYMED is a true favorite of mine. I mean, I started when I first saw ENDYMED, I was blown away because someone demonstrated the treatment to me, and you can, what Rebecca was saying, you can see the lift, and you can see in 10-15 minutes of doing a cheek, it lifted. And that was it. You were sold then, because obviously that's what everybody wants, to get that lift. And so that was really good to be able to do that. And I'm really honored to be able to talk to you today. Yeah, because ENDYMED, as I say, everybody knows it's one of my favorite treatments. So Rebecca and Jenny has gone through a lot of the technology and how it works and stuff, but why we chose radiofrequency as a treatment choice, because it's colorblind, and that makes a huge difference for us because it delivers the energy heat into the dermis, and so you get that collagen, remodeling and collagen fibers tightening, and it stimulates the collagen without. ENDYMED will stimulate the collagen without actually causing pain or discomfort to the patient, and so we chose ENDYMED for our patients because the technology focuses on science and results, and that's what we do. We like to know that what we're using for our patients has the backing. It's got clinical papers, it's validated, it's got peer reviews, and it gives you a solution for everything that you could want for your patient. The science shows you how in 1 to 3 days you get that heat response, then you get 3 days to 30 days, you get that collagen building, at new collagen stimulation, and then in 1 to 6 months you get the maturing of the collagen, which is what gives you that lift, and which is what we all want, so that tightening of the collagen. And when we can explain that to the patient, then we can explain to them why we actually choose ENDYMED. If you can do my next slide. So we start off with consultation because we have to decide which is the best treatment for our patient. And with consultation, the key thing is to get really good medical history for your patient, because that's what you need. Because you're going to need to know all about them and why did they come now? What it is they see that they need treating, because they've dealt with this for ages. And I think the main thing with choosing the right treatment for the patient, together with knowing, we know the technology, the patients don't, but we need to know why they've chosen now to make a change. And I might look at a patient and I might see one line and they're seeing something totally different. So we need to take our time, understand the patient, understand their needs, and then we can actually choose the right treatment to marry for them. We also have to look at their lifestyle, look at their past, present, and future plans, look at their medication, because in our clinic, we look at it as a medical treatment in the sense that we are merging science and beauty. So that's from that point of view. And it's our responsibility to educate the patient so that they mightn't know anything about radio frequency. They might know a lot. They might have been reading on the internet, because a lot of patients come now with a lot more knowledge. And so you have to work with them. A big part of our consultation is using a Visia, which is what you can see there, because that actually gives us an imaging picture above the skin and below the skin, because we're trying to work on changing the skin from inside out. And so we need to know what's going on. So the Visia gives us 2 ways, really. It gives us the imaging, but it also gives us a measurement, and it gives us a record so that we can work with the patient later to see, have we reached their goals? Did we achieve what it is they wanted to achieve, and how we can escalate their treatment protocol. And it's easier to discuss their skin if they can actually see it for themselves. So, it's kind of hard to say, oh, you've got fine lines and wrinkles, you've got this, whereas when you've done the Visia shows you, it looks at quality, tone, texture, open pores, laxity, sun damage, redness. And so it's an easy process to do a consultation because it's there, it's visible, it's nothing that I am being subjective about. And so the patient and you can have a really good conversation, because commitment, I think, to the treatment is really important. Radio frequency and ENDYMED is not a one-off treatment. I want them to be committed to doing the treatment, coming for their 6 on time, in the right time that we've set. I want them to continue with their maintenance so that they get the best result of their treatment. And also it's an investment for their time and energy as well. And so we need, not energy, but finance as well as the treatment that they deserve and what it is they want. Okay. Part of that also is managing your client expectation, because it begins obviously with the consultation and the patient selection and treatment choice. you want the patient to know that they're going to get the best result, and ENDYMED can offer that. We have many, as you see, many different platforms, but you have to think of the patient, their skin, are they a young patient, are they an older patient, you know, because we lose 1% of collagen from our 20s. So by the time we get to 40, if we've done nothing to stimulate collagen, you're not in a very good place as far as lines and wrinkles and aging. So part of that is our education with them as well, so that they can see what we need to actually treat their skin. And if we say we start anywhere. So if they're young and they have a lot of collagen, then they would just need tightening most of the time. If they're much an older patient, it's great, because when the intensive handpiece came in, that was a game changer for ENDYMED and for us, because we had, you know, we could tighten the patients with the tightening and with the FSR, but when you had deep lines and wrinkles and needed deep collagen stimulation, you couldn't always get the end result that you know they were looking for. But with intensive, you can, because you get that deep volumizing heating and lifting, and then they get the result that they want, which is always what it is you're looking for. Obviously, we need to optimize the skin before we do any treatment. So we've talked before, and Aesthetic Care have a range of skincare products as well. But we need to make sure that, you know, they have a good skincare, because we are trying to build on collagen that's there or not there. And we need as much help as we can get from inside. So good hydration, make sure they're on antioxidants and vitamin C, and explain the importance of all that, the peptides, the retinols, the growth factors, and of course sun protection. Because there's no point them, you know, going out partying, not eating properly, not sleeping, being really stressed, coming in today for treatment and then expecting to see a great result. It's really hard, and I want them to know that they're also responsible for part of that as well. And so sometimes we need to explain to them about aging. We look at the patient, are they aging in the right way? Are they aging too quickly? Do they understand that they can reduce a lot of their aging, the extrinsic aging facts? You know, we can't with the intrinsic aging, but, you know, we can reduce our stress, we can eat better, we can have a healthier lifestyle, we can exercise, and those things are important for our treatment and processes as well. With time, we have two sets of things with time, because when we're planning the treatment with the patient, we need to know what else they're up to. Are they, you know, because most of our treatments have no downtime, so that doesn't matter. They can get up and they can go back out to work. But a lot of our patients are looking for intensive or looking for FSR, and as well as, even though the downtime is minimal, there is still some downtime. And so I don't want them to come for a treatment today and then they tell me they have a really important meeting tomorrow, because then they will be unhappy the next day. So we need, when we're planning, we need to discuss that time as well. And also finance. Finance is important, because I want them to continue. I want them to be compliant. And part of, you know, for that as well, we need to be listening to the patient and understanding how all these things fit together, because ENDYMED offers everything that we need to be able to treat a patient. As we said, it's colorblind. I can treat any patient, any age, but we just need to get all the other things working in the background as well. And I'm committed to do that, so I want them to be doing the same. Next slide. So ENDYMED has a positive effect on my patient's well-being. I could put my heart in my hand and say yes, or hand in heart and say yes. It has, you know, because we treat all different patients come in, and sometimes they're quite sad. They're like, I don't like looking in the mirror, or they've had lots of acne. They've had problems with acne from adolescence, and they got problems with people asking them about their skin when they did have acne. Now they have people asking them about their scarring. And what you want is a patient to look in the mirror, be happy with what they see, be happy to put on their makeup, be happy to go out without makeup as long as they have on sun protection. And so we can do that. You know, it takes time. It's not a one-off treatment. And as you know, Jenny was talking about, we have a protocol. There's 6 weeks. There's 3 treatments once a month, depending on the treatment that we're doing. So we work with that. And wellness and emotional well-being is a great point for us, because that's part of our aesthetic, holistic care for our patients. We're trying to make our patient feel good about themselves all the way around. So what do the patients say about having treatments? I have a video here of one of my patients who is 37, and we can run that and see what she's had to say.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Morton Williams. I'm here at Aesthetics in Beaconsfield. I'm here with my beautiful patient Jane, and she's going to tell you about her treatments.
So I've been coming to Aesthetics in Beaconsfield since about October last year. And I'm in my late 30s now, and I felt that I was getting bags under the eyes and always looking tired. And I just look in the mirror and think, oh, I don't even feel tired today, but I was piling on the makeup to try and cover it. So I came to see Cheryl, and here at the clinic I've had a few treatments, and I've really seen the difference. I think before I could pull my finger down like this, and I could pull the bag down with my finger, and I could definitely tell the difference between the skin under my eye and on the front of my cheek here. And I think almost straight away after the first treatment I noticed that the skin was different, and that when I would pull my finger down like this, after the treatment it just feels like one continuous skin type, and it's really puffed up underneath the eyes now, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'm super good.
Jane has had 3 FSR treatments, and today she's come back for her follow-up, and she'll be continuing on ENDYMED TC.
So that was Jane, and these are some of my other patients. I'll just go through some photos. This is a patient, as I say, we can treat any age of patient, and she came wanting rejuvenation, and you can see after the ENDYMED she's got the glow, she's got a lift in her perioral areas. Her eyes were quite hooded before, but you can look and see that that's a nice lift in her eyes. Her forehead is much smoother, her nasolabials are not as deep, and she is very happy. And I'll take you to the next picture, which is my same patient, just to show you a little bit closer on her eyes and see the difference in her eyes. She's had her 3 intensive treatments, and then she's also had some tightening as maintenance. So she continues with her maintenance. So she's been a patient of ours for a while, and now she just has maintenance treatments, and that continues to make the skin healthier with the glow and the lift. And she's very happy with her treatment.
Glowing, she looks great.
I know, it's a really nice lift, and here you can see it from the side.
Yeah.
And so for her, doing things like putting on makeup, which is always really difficult when you have that hooding, and then you always feel as if you're fighting to keep your eyes open, and you're using your forehead a lot to lift. All those things kind of just go away, and you don't think about the change that makes for you mentally, that you think you have to keep your eyes open all the time. And now she's able to do that. So that's a really good change for her. A 77-year-old patient of ours who needed textural changes around her mouth. She's also had intensive. We love intensive at Aesthetics because you can't get this kind of change in the deep collagen change without working deep into the skin. And so if we're able to do this without surgery, without threads and all the other sort of technologies that are there, not saying that they're not great, but you know, a lot of patients don't want to go down the route of surgery or having injectables and stuff. They want a natural change, but they want to look the better that they can look for themselves. She's 77, she doesn't want to look 25, but she doesn't want to look as if she's not looking her best either.
Yeah, great.
This is another patient, she's 78. So it's great that you can have an older patient and still offer them something. So it takes longer sometimes. Sometimes we need to do more treatments than the typical 3. But they know that because you do that in your consultation. You that expectation of, you know, promise less, deliver more. But if I can show them pictures and say, look, this is what we can get to when we get to this. And we also, obviously, we need to always maximize the skin, optimize the skin. But it's great. I mean, she's happy, and I can see why. You can see the change in her neck as well for that lift. And as Jenny was saying, the lift needs to come from the bottom of the neck. We need to lift the face back up into the, change that aging triangle into the youth triangle. And so she's someone now, if we treated her, I would include the V shape, which is the special point to help with some more of that tightening.
That's great.
And this is just to show that we like to take pictures of dynamic movement as well, because it's sometimes when you just take static pictures and there's movement, you still see, but you can see even with movement, you can see there's a really nice change for her. And it's a, you know, it's not a full face view, but you can see her from the side. So she's
that's brilliant.
One of my patients who's had fractional resurfacing, FSR, around her eyes. And I love this treatment for around the eyes, especially when you get that glycation or the crow's feet. You can really get up into the brow, up underneath the eye. And as you say, it's thingy, but it's quick and the results are amazing. And as you can see, she is a woman of color, so I can treat anybody, any skin type, and be very comfortable knowing that I can do that. So she's only had 3 treatments. I focused on her eyes, although she's had intensive, because you can see the glow in her skin and around her eyes. You can see the lift above her eyebrows, and you know, with the length of her eye, between her eyes and her eyebrow, her eyelashes and her eyebrow, you can see not only that the lines are less, but you can see that lift. You can see the tone and texture in her skin where she's had her intensive. And she's now on maintenance with tightening. And these patients love their treatments. And that's the great thing, because you can do this for them. This is an acne patient who is 26. He's had 3 intensives, and he was more for acne scarring. But I chose to show you it in Technicolor because I want you to see that even below the skin, ND makes a difference. And you can see where the pigmentation from his acne scarring has gone.
Yeah.
And so that's really great, because when patients think you're only treating the surface, you're treating deep below the skin. And you can show them that on top of the surface, it's smooth, but I've also got rid of the pigmentation below the skin. And so for him, he's someone who is always out, he lives a life outside, and so he's really happy.
Can even see the lines on his forehead have improved there as well. So,
yeah, he's had the intensive. And here I will show you that we can actually treat tummies as well. And this is with a shaper. And as you can see from the original picture, this is a fit lady. She's got strong abdominal muscles, but still, we sometimes still get laxity. She's had 3 babies. And so we just needed to tighten that up. And you know, her comment here is, my tummy feels and looks tighter. The improvement has been staggering. You know, and it's great to be able to do that, because, you know, we all fight. The always thing is, people are like, I want a 6-pack, I want a 6-pack. But if you have lax skin on top, you don't see the 6-pack.
No.
You have to work together to get the best result of both. Okay.
Yeah, I feel that's really good.
So with blending treatments, I mean, ENDYMED gives you the platform. It regenerates the skin, increases the collagen, provides the foundation to boost results of other treatments. So as they say, if you start with a great canvas, you get a better result, whether that's surgery, because sometimes we can't fix it, they need to go for surgery. But if we can boost the skin's collagen before they go for surgery, they can get a much better result at the end. So, you know, sometimes we have to say, that's beyond me, but I can do something to help you along the way. So we also do a lot of medical grade facials. There's all the normal dermal fillers, neurotoxins, fat reduction, all those things. ENDYMED helps to improve, as I say, sometimes when people have treatments that just reduce the fat in the tummy, they end up with black skin, so then we can do the shaper or to tighten if that's what they've done. If you have the new handpiece, they don't need to go and do the fat reduction anywhere else. We can do both. And then we can do the still treatments just with ENDYMED by itself, because you can combine the ENDYMED handpieces and the treatments. So if your patient just needs lifting but has glycation around her eyes, we can do tightening and then do FSR around the eye, so they can have their 6 tightening and 3 FSR integrated at the same time. And so they get the best result for them because we can combine them in the same way with the ENDYBLEF or tightening and V-shape, or intensive. And I've done intensive with FSR because I think sometimes FSR works for me better around the eyes than intensive. And so if that's the kind of crisscrossy lines and lift that you want to get, sometimes doing the FSR at the same time as you do the intensive, it's okay. You've already numbed them, so you can do what you like. The thing is, the end result is what the patient is really looking for. And so I really love that I can do that. And we create our own little bespoke facial. So we do a medical facial and then follow. We always do Endy first because then you do the facial, we take off all this gel. So we can do that after. So they can come in for a longer treatment, get some tightening and some lifting, and then treat their skin with glycolics and salicylic acids and stuff. So they leave really great. So if you're prepping a patient for a special event, for a wedding, you can plan what you need to do in the process to get them really ready and give them the best possible outcome that they can have.
Absolutely. Right.
And so longevity, as Rebecca was saying, and it's been around, and patients always want the newest thing, but nobody has surpassed Endy as far as I can see. You know, no one's come up with 3D with, you know, more generators and stuff, because there's no need, because Endy gets to where you need it to be to do the treatment that they want. It's been great because I've seen the evolution from just 2 handpieces to now that we have 7. So as you were saying, Rebecca, the company keeps expanding the treatment protocols. And so that's all that you want. You have a base that works and then a handpiece that does something different. I can't wait for the next one. I'm dying to know what it's going to be. And, you know, it's FDA approved, it's cutting edge technology. But you know what? It does what it says and it gives you what it promises. And that's what I really like about it. And you can treat the face, you can treat the body, you can treat any patient, you can mix it out. Would my patients recommend it? Definitely. And they do recommend it. And I'm really, really happy to recommend it as a treatment for my patients because it works. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you to the amazing aesthetic team for being there for me all these years, and especially to Rebecca, who's always at the end of the phone when I have my crazy questions. And as a company, they're amazing with their support and their training, and yeah. And I love it.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks so much, Cheryl. It was really interesting to listen to what you have to say and get the insight from aesthetics and somebody who's worked with ENDYMED for such a long time. So thank you so much. If anyone has got any questions for Cheryl, you can just pop them in the chat. I'm conscious obviously of time, and we're going to bring Denise in now so we can answer any questions at the end. Denise, can you just unmute yourself if that's possible so we can hear you? Just while Denise is doing that, I'm just going to introduce the lovely Denise Dunning. Denise is an aesthetic nurse practitioner, independent nurse prescriber with over 13 years experience in the industry. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Denise already. She runs an extremely successful practice in Stockton on Tees called Norton Cosmetic Clinic. They offer a vast array of specialist skin treatments, skincare products and aesthetic treatments. She's got a fantastic team up there in Stockton on Tees as well. The girls are incredible, really dedicated to getting the best for the patients. also a mentor for Northumbria University. She works really closely with the team at HA Derma, and she's an active member of this. So we're really honoured to have her here today because lots of our clinics want to know what Denise Dunning is doing. So we've brought her in today so she can share with us. So are you there, Denise? Can you hear us?
I am. Hi.
Let me just hide all that so we can see you. Just a second. Here she is.
Hi, Denise.
Hello. Can you see me?
We can.
Yeah.
So over to you. Your first slide's up there, Denise.
Okay. So I've been thinking about getting some kind of skin tightening for a considerable amount of time, and obviously there's such a lot out there that it's a bit confusing and complicated. So I started to have a look at researching skin tightening machines and looking at all the evidence, which has just been fantastically put by Rebecca and Cheryl. The ENDYMED stood out to me. I asked a couple of colleagues as well, so colleagues were pointing me on the right direction. A couple of colleagues already had them. Granted, they didn't have all the handpieces, but the ones I had, they had fantastic results from. So I was looking for a machine with minimal downtime, and really important was pain. So, you know, it had to be comfortable. It didn't have to be painful, because clients just don't want that. They can put up with a certain amount of pain, as we do, but really, you know, if you're going to have a course of treatment, you don't want to be dreading coming in for that treatment if it's going to hurt. So I asked the aesthetic care team for a trial of it, because I've worked with aesthetic care for quite a long time now. I've already got the EDS machine. I bought a Dermalux from them, and the aftercare and support was exceptional. I wasn't left on a limb. Any problem I had, it was dealt with. Not that I had problems, but I knew I could trust this company to buy from them. So in June 2017, the aesthetic team came up to the clinic and we had a trial of it. So I was like a little guinea pig. They did a tighten treatment on me, and left it at that. There was no hard sell. There was no, you know, when you're going to buy one, are you looking at buying it? Are you, you know, there was none of that. It was just like, you know, they didn't pester me, nothing. It was just all left to me, which was another good thing for me. So great supportive team, great educational support. And so that's why I chose to go down that road, as well as that the machine was going to cover all indications, and there was going to be a treatment for every client, from the very youngest one that we've got to an older lady. So so the machine that we got 2 tightening handpieces. We got the FSR and we got the intensive. We went for the intensive because the age group in our clinic, some of the ladies I've got, they need that extra radiofrequency delivery system. They need that, the deep line treatments, they need the rough texture treatments. So we went from one end of the treatment line to the other. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our ladies, a bit like me at my age, I'm 56, we have these, we have these. Oh, well, I've got an ENDYMED, that's why. Yay! But that's what we need to address. And around the eyes as well, we needed something for the eyes. So we needed tightening, we needed something to address the submental fat, the prejoral sulcus, and sagging eyelids, baggy eyes. And a lot of my clients, although they come to us for skin treatments, a lot of them are not ready to go down the filler route, or they don't want to go down a filler route. So we have botulinum toxin. Some people don't want that. We have dermal fillers. A lot of ladies are not ready for that. They'd like to try something else first. And there's a fear factor. You know, it's a big deal for some people having things like this. So to be able to try a radio frequency device first, on just like a tightening or a mini shaper, just to give them that little bit of, oh, you know what, my head hasn't fallen off, I look great, you know, I can progress to something else now. Yeah. So anyway, so that's why we went with it. So we decided to do a launch. I got in touch with Aesthetic Hair and I just said, look, you know what, I've got 2 fantastic therapists. I need them to be able to do some treatments that are going to deliver results. And they came and they did some training with us, and then we went into a launch. So the launch was incredible. It was incredibly busy. And because we had so much interest in the launch day, we had to stagger it. So Aesthetic Care provided everything. So they did flyers, beautiful flyers. They provided balloons. They did all the social media posts. And basically, I didn't need to do anything. We just turned up on the day, which was great. But we had to give everyone a fair chance to look at the machine, to listen to the presentations. We had to do small groups. So we did 4 sessions of one day, and we invited those only. We didn't want people, this is such an exclusive machine. We don't want just anybody rocking up and walking through the door and standing there who are not interested in having any treatments. We've got people who genuinely were chomping at the bit to book in for this. So we did small groups of up to, I think it was between 10 and 15. So minimum was 10 patients, maximum was 15. So we staggered that from 10 in the morning, and we went right through till 8 at night. And it was like Groundhog Day. So,
Yeah.
So Roisin and Rebecca and Jenny were fabulous, because they just like, we finished one session and it was back to the next, then back to the next. But the fantastic thing was, there was a queue of people booking these courses at the end of every session. So the 2 therapists they had 2 computers to take the bookings, because it was too many to cope with one. So what we did as well as an incentive, so the patients who attended these sessions, we put all of their names into a hat, and we asked them if they were happy to have the makeup taken off, and we would use those as a model for the demonstration, and they loved that. And it was great as well, because nothing was set up, nothing was pre-planned. It was just, right, name out of the hat, you've been chosen to have a tighten, is that okay? Went down a storm, because you can actually see the results happening in front of, or everybody watching could see the results happening. So you could see the cheek lifting, Pujol sulcus lifting, and it was great. So we had 2 rooms with 2 different treatments. We didn't have FSR or intensive, because that's obviously, we didn't have time to numb patients up or anything like that. So one of them would have the mini Sherpa, the treatment with the mini Sherpa, and the other one would have the Titan.
Yeah.
So what we did, when everyone was queuing up to book, we offered a discount. So it was on the launch day only. We said, right, if you book a course of Titan, you can get it for this. If you book a course of FSR intensive, we'll give you this discount. And everybody was going for it. So the return of income. So the launch, what we did, we took deposits only. Some people paid for a part of the treatment and then said, we'll pay half now, we'll pay half when the course is complete, which is great. Some, said, can I pay every time I come, which was great. But on that day, on that launch day, we took £15,000 on that launch day. Once all of the courses were complete and everybody had done the course of 6 or 3, it generated more than double that amount. So there was more than £32,000, I think, in the first, well, more than that. In the first year, we took more than that. And now the machine's paid for, so it's paid for itself in less than 2 years. Yeah. So that's been fantastic. So clients continue with this, because what they do is the clients who are a bit nervous, never had anything before ever, no Botox fillers, nothing, we found that they're going to start off with a course of 6 Titan to have a trial of it, really. But the ones who have had a trial of the 6 Titan, they've booked up for the FSR, they've booked up for the intensive, and it's slid along that kind of line. So the patients who've started with a Titan will slide up to the more intensive treatments. Once they've finished with those treatments, they'll slide back down and they'll have the occasional Titan or the mini shape. So they absolutely love it. We offer a combination of treatments as well. So what we've kind of created as we've got more experience with this machine, we haven't had it very long, really. And the two therapists do it. I do it very, very rarely because I'm in my room doing the injectables and the therapists are working with the ENDYMED. And I forgot to mention, because I was so busy on the launch, Aesthetic Care was so generous because we only had one machine and there was that many people booked in. We couldn't complete the full courses with just one machine. So they loaned us another one. So we actually had two machines going full pelt for 6 months, it seemed.
It was a few months.
Oh, it was a long time, but that was amazing because we could simultaneously complete these treatments because some have to have one a week initially, you know, so we needed two machines really to keep the momentum going with the treatment times. So that was great. So now we've got a bit more experience. We've created treatment packages. So we have an envy machine. So an envy machine is a bit like hydrofacial. So it's like a microdermabrasion and an infusion of cocktail vitamins and minerals. So what we tend to do is we created an ENDYMED, and that's one of our most popular treatments because patients come and they can have the radiofrequency and they can have an envy facial at the same time, combining the two treatments. It's fantastic. They all love it. They leave feeling clean, glowing, tightened, lifted. It's perfect for them because it's a fantastic, you can see results straight away. So they'll have this treatment and they're good to go to a red carpet event that night. Some of my results from the clinic, this is a friend of mine, so she's the same age as me, we went to school together. So it was my duty really to treat my friend with intensive. And she made me laugh because she said to me, was I actually dead in that first picture? I looked terrible. A skin tone and texture was, it was dull, it was dry, it was very sallow. She had fat pad separation. Her eyelids were very were drooping. You can see marionette lines and nasolabial lines, and she just hated it. So Jane had 3 intensives, and she could see a difference from the very first one. She was sold after the first one, but continued to have the 3. And this was 6 months after a 3 intensive treatments. So she loves it. She has bought the newer to maintain her treatments at home. But as soon as we open, she'll be back in clinic for more of the deeper tightening treatments. So this is another lady, and she is not yet 40. So she's been a regular patient of mine for quite a long time, and she doesn't like Botox. She just doesn't like it. She loves fillers, and it's quite difficult with this lady because her skin, she had textural problems. So there's no point putting filler into patients' faces if their skin is dull, dry, and just doesn't look clean and fresh. So we decided on a course of 3 FSR for this lady, and it's been phenomenal because the rejuvenation is, you can see the difference in the under eyes. She's resurfacing, the skin resurfacing was amazing, and just a tone and texture of her skin has been incredible. So she's also loving the newer, and she can't wait to come back in because she's quite desperate to get in the in-clinic ENDYMED tightening treatments as well. So this little device, this has been my best friend during lockdown. This is literally here all of the time because it just feels as if you've had an in-clinic treatment. So I didn't really use this very much until lockdown started because we've got in-clinic treatments. So I've had a newer for a while, but during lockdown, I was like, oh my God, what my lady's going to do, how they're going to cope. And then we just thought, oh my God, the newer. So we've sold lots and lots of Nuas, not just to our ENDYMED ladies who have treatments in the clinic, but just everyone, because we've been putting little videos on saying, look, this is amazing, one side to the other, it works everywhere, skin everywhere, knees, backs of hands. You know, they've enjoyed using the newer radio frequency at home because they just can't get into the clinic. So this device has been perfect. It's kept us going during lockdown as a business because people have been amazing, supporting us, purchasing skincare, but the newer has actually blown us away, the amount of people. And there's a 30-day money back offer on at the minute. We haven't had one single person who said, do you know what, I'm not happy with that. It hasn't done what it said it's going to do. They've all, I get messages all day long. As soon as they use it for the first time, they're hooked. And it works perfectly. Even when we get back into clinic and we've still got the ENDYMED, they can still continue to use this one at home as in between treatments, just to maintain the results. They can go on the app, they can see how much collagen they're producing from the newer app, and that's like a kind of motivational thing as well. So they can see actually what's going on underneath the skin. So thank you to Aesthetic Hair, because it's been amazing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely fantastic. Again, if anybody's got any questions for Denise or for Cheryl, please drop them into the chat box, and Jenny and Roisin can raise those. I'm conscious, obviously, it is 12:30, so if anybody does need to leave, that's absolutely fine. We are recording the meeting today, and we can send that out, but do just have a couple of slides to follow up with as to the next steps. So Denise, Cheryl, thank you so much have you with us today. It's been incredible to get your insight on ENDYMED, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too, girls.
Thanks, Denise. Thanks, Cheryl. Amazing, as always.
Have a wonderful day in the sunshine, everybody.
Yeah, enjoy the summer.
Make sure you're wearing your helio care though.
Yeah, definitely. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Denise. So just to follow on, so why is ENDYMED the perfect choice for your clinic? And we want to talk about our new way of working. Obviously, we've really had to change and evolve over the last couple of months during obviously the pandemic, and we've done that, and we've done that well. We've really listened to our clinics and tried to adapt the best we can to support everybody. And you can just see on here some of the activity that we've had going on. So some amazing Zoom events. We've run fantastic virtual training sessions with our training team. We've supported on social media. We've done how-to videos. So it's been fantastic to really engage with our clinics. I'm just going to hand back to Jenny. She just talk a little bit about what ENDYMED training looks like. Obviously, that's quite different now over the next couple of months. So Jenny, do you want to just jump in and talk through training?
Yeah. So we've actually started doing our virtual training. So from here at the virtual training centre, and we've put together our training modules so that the training is broken up into the theory side, and it's supported with video tutorials as well as live demonstrations. So we make sure that the training is very interactive, and we really make sure we go into depth with the technology, and we also make sure that we look at client selection, and that's so important part of the obviously consultation side, but making sure that we feel really, really confident. And we are actually able to watch you do treatments as well, and we can provide a full setup, as you can see in the photographs, of how we would do that. So we do it over Zoom, but we can watch you do a full treatment as well. So it's been great so far. We've had some amazing feedback from the training as well, and we provide a full training pack as well, so you get the manual and you get all of your information as well. And as Denise was saying, we're so keen on making sure that we support you after the training as well. So that's something that I make sure I keep in touch. Any questions, we can help support you with that as well.
100%. Yeah, that's brilliant. We've had some great feedback on the training. We also support with a virtual launch event, and we're actually hosting one tonight, myself and our training manager Jenny, and we're really engaged with your clients. So the one tonight, we've got 35 people attending, similar kind of presentation to what we've done today. We take you through the different options that are available. Obviously, the end result is for them to book a consultation in your online, your virtual clinics, which is fantastic. Just to recap on Denise Dunning's fantastic launch event in clinic, it generated £35,000 worth of treatment bookings. As she said, she paid a device off before she even got to the end of the first year, which is just incredible. We support with lots of marketing as well, and this is one thing that we're really strong at Aesthetic Care. We provide marketing tools in the way of a toolkit link, which is updated regularly, jam-packed full of lots of informative videos, social media posts, website content and logos for you to share. So we really do that work for you. So all you have to do is click download and share to your own platforms. We've built customer awareness. We feature in lots of the glossy magazines, and we've got a huge celebrity following with ENDYMED. Just to name a few, we've got a great video of Kim Kardashian having the skin tighten treatment done. The night we played that video, we had an influx of people trying to find their local clinic. So we really do support when it comes to driving customers to your clinic. Pricing, I'm sure everybody wants to know. Prices start from about £25,000. It just depends on the platform and the configuration that you go for. So this is really tailor-made to your exact requirements, and you would have a detailed meeting, obviously, with one of the team here at Aesthetic Care to really work out what is the demand in clinic and what is the right configuration for you to start with. Next steps, we'd love to hear from you, and you've probably already seen in your inbox, you've got an invitation to click for a one-to-one digital meeting with one of the business development managers here at Aesthetic Care. So it's the two Rebeccas, myself and Rebecca O'Brien. We'd love to chat to you in more detail about what ENDYMED can bring to your clinic. We know there's lots of opportunities out there at the minute. People are using bounce back loans and lower bank loans to really invest and take this time to bring something new into the clinic. Obviously, the clinics are not reopened yet. It's a great time to get on board with training. As Jenny said, it's a tailor-made package for your clinic. So we're really excited to work with you all, and we can't wait to hear from you. Any questions, as I said, drop them in. We can stop on at the end for another 5-10 minutes if anybody does have anything that they specifically want to ask. But thank you so much for taking the time today to join the ENDYMED workshop. A huge thank you again to Denise and Cheryl. You've been incredible. It's been fantastic to hear about ENDYMED in clinic. Stay safe, everybody, and thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Everybody, have a great
Thank
afternoon.
you.
Thank you, Denise.
Thanks, girls. It was so lovely to see you all.
See you, Denise.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Denise. Jenny, any questions that we just need to answer while we're still on?
I think I've answered everything.
Yeah, I think we've answered everything. Just people saying thank you at the moment.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. Natalie Marie, hiya.
Yeah, oh there, yeah, Natalie, we know. And Sharina, oh, thank you, Sharina.
Oh, thanks, Sharina.
Thanks, Sharina.
Fab.
It was really interesting. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, nice to try something
people
different.
waving.
Everybody's
Got people waving.
Bye.
Thanks, girls.
Thanks, Denise.
You go and get yourself out in the garden with the team.
I'll have that $5 out the back of your phone, Rebecca.
Oh, there's someone on from Colombia.
Wow.
Greetings from Colombia.
We've gone global, guys. We've gone global.
Wow, amazing.
Wow.
Okay, so.
Oh, fab.
Nice to hear. You'll be selling ENDYMED worldwide, non-stop.
Well, I have to go to Colombia for training.
Fantastic. Everyone needs an
big
ENDYMED, so.
That one sending you all the way over there.
Yeah.
So I'll just remove. Jenny, are you helping?
I've just started now. I didn't know if you were.
Yeah.
Are we good to go now?
You can
Yeah, you can go.
You can go anytime, Denise. Thanks so much.
Perfect.
Speak soon.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Denise. Thank you.
Bye. You're welcome.
Somebody's entered the waiting room.
Ah.
That's it. Whew. I'll just stop the recording.